Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course pandasubs.com, discount code TDL for 25% off. And of course also go to homage.com, get you some Raiders gear. I got my other sweater on here today, my other crew neck.
Okay,
so you
can see that same one in the hoodie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I got the other crew neck on today, so I'm representing. So go ahead and check that out, guys. Get 15% off, and then and I think me and Matt get a couple share. I get a share of it. Matt gets a share of it, and we're buying it. So go ahead and get that done, guys. Go get that done.
Support the channel, wet the beak a little bit.
Exactly. All right. So today we're reviewing a win versus the Titans. We got our first win in 4 weeks. So it's
first win in a month. First positive, or first all around positive, I should say. Breakdown in a month.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll be doing that. Matt's will be going over the pass rush and Tyree Wilson, and I'm gonna be doing Dylan Parham and Michael Mayer. All right. So Matt, we reviewed the film. Pete Carroll thought Kayubu Kelly was awesome. I don't know how you felt, but what was the difference in this game between the other games?
I'll get to dive into that a little bit more here in a second, but I will say the biggest difference is the defensive line dominated. I mean, they had Cam Ward and hell most of the game. I think that's definitely what helped out Kayubu Kelly and the corners. Kayubu made a couple nice plays against some screens and stuff like that, blowing it up. So he definitely had a little bit more of a bounce back performance. Like I was expecting Darian Porter to get some reps. Situation just never called for it. And then when Kelly's making a couple of nice plays out there against the screen game, obviously didn't need to make a switch in this game. But the biggest thing I think the Raiders can hang their hat on is that their defensive line dominated. Like just about everyone on the D line had a really good game overall. And I mean, obviously you saw Devin White get the sack there, which we'll break down here in the pass rush segment. And I think that was pretty positive. I mean, even against the run, they had a pretty good game. Like Tyree Wilson, he only had eight run defense snaps, but he got two defensive stops according to PFF, which is a pretty good rate. And I mean, there's one of them where I don't know how he didn't get it. I would give him 3. I don't know why they didn't give him credit for it. So he had a really impressive game in both phases, definitely a little bit better as a run defender, but even had a few nice pass rush reps. The one thing that I will say that I was kind of alluding to at the beginning is I don't know how about you felt about this, Marcus. Watching, we talked about after the game, this is the takeaway here is the Raiders aren't the worst team in the NFL, and that's kind of been the discussion ever since. It definitely, the film, watching it, you're this game was more about how bad the Titans are than how the Raiders turning a corner. And I hate to be like that guy, and I hate to be that negative after a win and stuff like that. But they're we'll see if on a few of these sacks and stuff like that, the Titans have a lot of issues. So I'll put it that way. A lot of issues, especially up front. And I mean, the Raiders, they played well, up front and stuff like that. But if they play like they did again, if they play the same game this week against the Chiefs, they're not going to be competitive. There was a lot more of just their mistakes and taking advantage of playing a bad team and a coach that ended up getting fired literally the morning after the game. So I think that told me a lot. It's all right, this was a good win, always good to get a win. But at the same time, I think you have to factor in the opponent. And this was again, a lot more about the Titans were just god awful and legitimately the worst team in the league, probably. I don't know, maybe up there, I guess, with the Jets, but it was pretty ugly for the most part. There were not a lot of guys getting open and stuff like that. And when guys were getting open, Cam Ward wasn't hitting them. And then their offensive line, there were so many just pure communication issues, and credits to the Raiders for capitalizing. But again, this is not a game I would hang my hat on and saying they're going to be able to turn it around in the second half. I'm going to need to see more next week to really feel like that going into the bye.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Titans defense is a little bit better than the offense, just because of some of the players they have. I was thinking like if the Raiders had Xavier Woods and some of these other guys, I think they'd be a little bit better. It's just even like Xavier Woods is not a superstar.
Yeah.
He'd be an upgrade on this team, right? And like some of the other guys that are on their defense, L'Jarius Sneed would be definitely an upgrade for everybody on the Raiders team. And so I think the Raiders offense, I thought they ran the ball pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of times where they did good stuff, but I thought there was a lot of more positive runs than usual. But there was some negative runs that kind of kept Genty at the 3.3 yards per carry. We're going to go over that one.
Yeah.
Kind of go over Dylan Parham a little bit. I'm not saying Parham did those exact runs, but you'll see, the mistakes that were there. I think they have a little bit of some communication issues, a little bit too on the offensive line. They're still having every once in a while. So I'm gonna show one of those sacks, not the sack, but the play that probably was a fumble, but they got lucky and they didn't call it a fumble. That would have changed this whole game. But yeah, they're just having some. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, the offensive line will look good for like 3 plays, and then they'll just look like awful the next one.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with the offensive line. I thought Geno played pretty well though. I thought they kind of like kept him in like a play action short passing game, which I kind of wanted them to do. But when that happens though, they got to be good in the red zone, which is kind of their problem right now, right? If they're gonna do that, they're not gonna build off explosive plays because they didn't try a deep pass all game, right? And then even one of his sacks, he kind of had Jacoby Myers, and if he like wanted to let it rip, he could have thrown that ball, but he just was a little hesitant. Like he wasn't sure if he wanted to let it rip or not. It wasn't enough separation, I guess. But like a year ago, he would have let that rip. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So those are a couple of things on offense. But I think Trey Tucker had a good game. Obviously, he's getting a lot better as wide receiver, especially him executing in the short game is something that you gotta like, right? You gotta like him executing in the short game there. I think Jacoby Myers, he had a couple of first downs and some of those out routes, and then Michael Mayer had a really good game in the passing game too, broke a lot of tackles, and really showed that he can be a starting tight end in the NFL if he really wanted to be, right? So I think that is really helping. Having him back helps a lot too. But they do got to find a way to get some more explosive plays. They got to. I think the Titans basically played quarters the whole game, so they were just kind of sat back and they really didn't try to confuse Geno too much either. So that's probably why he played a little bit better. But they kind of had like a simple zone coverage game plan to kind of make Geno do those things, and he was able to do it. And besides that one, off interception that he threw, I thought he played a pretty clean game. But other than that, I think that on offense, it's gonna be tougher against Chiefs because I think we're gonna figure out like how predictable Chip Kelly is. Because if you're predictable, Nick Bolton will be in your backfield the second the ball snap. You know what I mean? And so will Chanel, and so will Tranquil. So that's gonna be the tough part for this next game that they're playing, is to see how creative they can be, what their tells are, because if they have them, Nick Bolton's going to be all over them. So they're gonna have to figure that out and maybe get into that play action game a lot heavier. But I will say in the 2 wins they have this year, Geno Smith has a play action percentage higher than 35% because he's 44% this week. Week 1 he was 35. They won 2 games. So that might be the answer. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, we talked about that in the reaction to like, it seems like they were taking the decision-making process out of his hands, which, I mean, it's frustrating that you have to do that, but the way he's been playing, I think that's what you're going to have to do. And especially this week, like you're talking about Nick Bolton. I didn't even mention Spagnuolo, who, we know is dials up some crazy ass coverages and crazy blitzes that I think can give Geno some trouble. But good to see at least he was like making the right decisions and whatnot, and avoiding the huge mistake. I guess he still ended up throwing a pick, but nothing that was like too terribly costly. The one thing that you mentioned, like the offensive line still having issues like picking up there with communication and stuff. I was like, I just watching like on the broadcast, like you could tell that a little bit, you know what I mean? Where like it felt like when the Titans were running those line games or when they were getting pressure is when they were running the line games, and like they just weren't on the same page, which again, going even back to last season, I feel like it's been one of the more frustrating parts about the unit so far. And granted, shuffling guys around and guys figuring out new positions has a factor in that too, I think too.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. Anything else going on in Raiders world? Nothing crazy, right? Nothing to talk about.
Nothing really, nothing much. Brock
Other
Bowers probably going to be held out for another game and probably
to the
going
bye
to let
week,
him
right?
rest after the bye week. Yeah, basically just give him a month off, which I mean it's frustrating because I always want to beat the Chiefs and want to have him out there, but at the same time, that's perfectly okay with me if he's going to heal up and be 100% for the long term vision of the team, I guess if you will.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Let's get into it, though, man. Let's get into it then. Let's do some offense first. Okay. Yeah. Share screen. All right, so let's get into some Michael Mayer. So, Michael Mayer had 5 catches, 50 yards. So we get into his catches a little bit here. And then you watch him block with Parham. It'll be a group effort there. So this is the play that Geno Smith threw an interception on against Chargers. Trey Tucker ran a little bit different, kind of sitting here. But this time he's able to get the ball out to Mayer here, which I believe he should have did against the Chargers, right? And once you get the ball out to Mayer here, it looks like it's not going to be a big play, but he ends up getting 5 yards here, makes the guy miss an open field.
Yeah, let's move.
See a little bit better on this side here. Boom. Kind of get it out. Little RPO there. Gino gets it out quick. Boom. And then you get the 1-on-1 with him and a linebacker, I believe. Boom. I think it's actually a safety. Makes that safety miss right there. Makes him whiff. He puts his head down, gets 5. Get a successful play. Start the game there. So basically, you're getting Chip Kelly's favorite play is this white cross. If I see a guy going across, I'm like, oh, white cross. So you see Jack Besh trying to get across here, right? Besh, and then you're gonna get Tucker. He's trying to do a dig route, but they're playing inside leverage. So the Titans have this covered up really well, right? You see how they're playing this. They're kind of playing cover 2 here in the end zone. Some goal line cover 2. Once this guy crosses, that guy's going to take him, and they really have everything covered up. And Gino does a good job though of seeing it, right? Stepping up, understanding that he's going to have Michael Mayer underneath, and Mayer makes himself available right there. Easy pitch and catch there, touchdown.
Yeah, I like that design too with like delayed release because like if you watch 50, like he's gonna like eye Mayer at first, and then once he sees Mayer block, he like starts to sink and get depth.
Mm-hmm.
Takes his eyes off of him, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that's right where Mayer goes for the touchdown.
It just leaves it wide open. You just gotta make a good throw there, and you got it. Yeah, you could say maybe a little bit behind him, right? But it's a good catch there. Sure,
Yeah.
shows off his hands a little bit.
Like the read by Gino too there.
All right, so this one you're getting Mayer, doing some motion here. So kind of the same thing on this one. This time you get the tight end screen. This is 3rd and 12, so it's kind of just a play, just kind of get some yards. But watch how many broken tackles he gets here. So, right, there's 1 broken tackle, 2 broken tackles. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
this dude, he really showed a lot in this game, in my opinion. I think that especially with how they used him, I think there's more times that they could have gotten the ball, in my opinion. It made him more of a target. I think we're going to see more of that because, especially if they get the play action going, because I'm telling you, Nick Bolton and them dudes going to be crashing. So you're going to see here, they're going to do a little stunt here. You got a blitz. They're going to attack Parham there, come back around. But they do a good job of seeing this screen. I mean, Simmons even reads it well. See Simmons here.
Yeah.
He reads it really well. He sees it. But Michael Mayer does a good job of just making that dude miss, right? Make him miss. Right, and this is what you get in the open field here from him. Then he just makes number 7 miss. Just get off me right there. So it doesn't end up being a huge play there, but it's good enough.
Yeah, not bad for a screen.
All right, next one here. This one you kind of get the same thing, kind of with the play action chip release. So let this run. End up getting 22. So I really like this play design here because you can kind of really tell this is kind of designed for Mayer a little bit.
Yeah.
right? Because you get the bootleg action here, right? Play action, right? Kind of quick out bootleg action, right? You see Barton, he's retreating. You see, I think that's one of the corners there. He's communicating how they need to switch, and what this does is like nobody's paying attention to Michael Mayer, so Michael Mayer is wide open here. Gino just comes right to him right there, quickly, and that's just so much in the middle of the field. And yeah, the problem is Brock Bowers. They probably they probably pay more attention to him. Yeah, he would score first of all.
Yeah.
But I think they might pay a little bit more attention to him. But I think the Chiefs. You put the stuff on film, the Chiefs are gonna be ready for this stuff, so they have to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you really
think off of
yeah, something right there. Boom, get that nice little pass right there. You get some yak. Cause some punishment. Made a good play there. All right, so this could be the last one for Michael Mayer here. You're gonna get really deep dive into the offensive line, basically overall, and Dylan Parham. All right, so this is kind of the same play the Raiders ran against the Patriots to get that fourth down, that big fourth down. Must run there. So if you remember this play, all right, you get Trey Tucker on the corner route. You get Michael Mayer on this chip release, right? And then you get Ashton Jesse to flat. So, kind of a high-low concept here. Now, of course, that's not open there. They do a good job of getting Tucker there. And then, Jack Besh, this corner, he's kind of playing both at this point. So it's a good job by Gino seeing that and then getting the ball back to Michael Mayer right there. He makes a good catch. Make sure he holds onto that ball, gets that first down. So watch from this side here. So play action, right? Kind of get that ball out there, right? And this time, Gino actually looks at the corner. I mean, against the Patriots, if he looked at that, he throws a touchdown. It's kind of funny. But you see here, it's a good job. That's not there, right? So you come back. That's when you come back to Michael Mayer there as the last option. Good catch there. Boom. First down. All right. So basically, it's all Michael Mayer there. So yeah, he had a really good game.
The chip releases were his top route.
Yeah, I mean,
5 catches.
Yeah, he's a chip release master, man. All 5, yeah, basically, right? All right, so let's get into Dylan Parham, who I thought was I know he didn't have the best grade in the world. There's gonna be some plays you can see why, but I thought he played pretty decent here, especially line up against Jeffrey Simmons for the most part. So you see him in the run game here against Jeffrey Simmons, so run a little bit, helping open up that hole for Genty. Help him get 5 right there. So, what I like about Parham all the time is just the technique is always really good. It's always a question of power more than anything about him. Now, Simmons doesn't get lower than him, which is, this is Jeffrey Simmons, which, he's one of the best in the game. And so he does end up lifting him up a little bit. But what I like is that Parham still has a technique and had the hand placement where even though he's kind of still losing here, and he ends up just pushing him, right? Kind of just basically just man-to-man winning. He gets a little help from Meredith here.
Yeah.
But that's still a good rep in my opinion. And then it pissed Simmons off, obviously. Simmons was pissed, you see. So when they started talking, if you remember my tweet, what I'm saying? He didn't like that. He didn't like it. All right, so here we go. This is a pass play. Honestly, this is the same drive, which is kind of funny. And you can see this time, he's not able to kind of just. He actually does win this rep, so I think it's the next one after this one. But watch him on this one, right? So Parham does a good job of kind of try to knock his hands down, right? Parham does a good job of just waiting, then getting his hands on him, and then he knows he's going to get some help from Meredith. And then, Simmons tries to do another counter, right? And then lift those arms up, and he keeps holding on, and then he does a good anchor here and kind of holds Simmons, right? And then you can see him reset there, get his hands back under afterwards. So that's a good rep, man. It's a good rep by Parham right there. I think he's one of the best players in the league. So watch it one more time here. Yeah. I mean, we used to usually watch him get his butt kicked. Sorry, guys, spotlighted Ashton Genty. I spotlighted the wrong guy here, but we're looking at Dylan Parham. All right.
I always get confused between the left guard and the running back too. It's
yeah. All right. So this one, he just gets completely beat on this one, right? So watch this one here. And basically what happens is like Parham's been kind of doing the same set in the run game for the first couple plays, and then Simmons recognizes it and just like rips right under him like that, right? So he knows that he kind of has, Parham standing up right here, right? Yeah. And then he's, there's a little rip there, boom, rips through, and Parham has no shot here. Right. Yeah. So that's just, what I'm saying? But that's what happens when you go against one of the better, defensive tackles in the league. They're going to adjust. They're going to adjust to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially when you start talking shit to them. They're going to. All right. He just blows this whole play up, basically. I think he tripped him. I think that's illegal tripping, but it's fine.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a leg whip. Yeah, that should have been called.
I didn't notice that until now. I don't know what that ref was looking at, man. That's how you tackled him. Alrighty. All right, next one here. Let me go back here a little bit. My bad, guys. All right, so next one here. Now this one's a little bit away from the play, but and Simmons ends up tripping. But I still think even when you see this, I mean, he's not getting. He tried to get a one arm push on him, but I think Parham just kind of just kept his ground here, kept his anchor a little bit. He does get that long arm there. You kind of see how he gets that long arm in there right there on Parham. But I think Parham just kept his balance. He has good. I think he has a good base there too as well. And then, since Simmons has to change directions here, he thinks he's going to try to just run through him. Parham does a good job of just throwing him to the ground a little bit. All right, man.
Nice block.
Hey, maybe he can handle Chris Jones this year, maybe, right? I don't know, but
depends on how much effort Chris Jones is giving.
His arch nemesis, man.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another one here. It could be running a little outside zone on this one. And like I said, another good block here. Now, this is against Simmons, but you kind of see how he's not going against one of the better players in the league. Yeah, he gets a little help here. We just see how much push he's getting there. He's getting a lot of push. It's a good reach block there, right? Gets a little help, boom. I think you said the pad was a little bit high there, but I think he comes out of a good position right there, and then kind of raises up a little bit. But he just had, with the help of Meredith, he still has some good leverage. He's able to kind of keep pushing. The hand placement helps a lot.
Yeah, if JPJ gets that block on Simmons, that Jetty has a lane right up the middle.
Yeah.
JPJ just missed.
Yeah, JPJ didn't play that. He didn't play that well this game.
Yeah.
Probably is definitely his worst game back. All right. So next one here. Now this we're going to talk about what happens here with JPJ and Jordan Meredith here, because I mean that's the bigger part of this. But we'll start with Parham. Parham gets a one-on-one here with the Simmons here again, right?
Yeah.
Stevie got to help him. Simmons tries to get around him, but like this is probably one of his best rep of the game, in my opinion. Simmons tries to give him a little jab step move here, a little jab step inside, but he doesn't get fooled. He has great hand placement there, good pad level, good base, right? And then of course Simmons, he's just a great hand fighter, so he has to reset again, right? He's able to anchor there, right? So this gives Gino plenty of room in the pocket here, right, to get this pass off. So this is a really good rep. It's probably, like I said, this is probably my favorite rep from him in the game. Simmons there, great rep right there. But of course, JPJ and Jordan Meredith, I don't know what happened here. Did you see that like they're double teaming here?
Yeah.
Right, they got to both. And like Meredith just like leaves him and then goes to help.
Yeah, he goes to help on. I think technically that should be JPJ because if Meredith turns left like that, then I think JPJ should technically have the left A gap with that once that linebacker drops. But yeah, they're not on the same page. Clearly.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to keep helping him.
Yeah,
obviously. And Meredith's like, I got to go find Simmons.
Yeah,
like, where's Simmons at? Let me go help.
They both look for work.
The work's right in front of you, bro.
Yeah.
And then, Gino gets popped. I mean, that's a fumble, but fine. We'll take it. This is Jack Besh's only target. Jack Besh was open. Good route, Jack. See, a little whip route. Look at him. He's open. First down. Right, first down. Jack Besh. But no. JPJ and them have bad block there. All right. So here's another one here.
Jeez.
Seems to be a good block here too. So, like I said, this is a reach block. Like I said, JPJ got his ass kicked on this one too. But this is a great block by Parham. This is, like I said, this is Dylan Parham breakdown. Well, I'll talk about these other guys too, but great block, great reach block by Parham, just able to keep driving that guy. Like, I mean, if JPJ does have a good block here, like there's a great cutback lane for Genty on this outside zone. Right? That cutback lane is there. And Parham does a good job of getting around there. I mean, Meredith has a good block at the second level. Everybody's blocking well except JPJ and Ian Thomas. Yeah. He's
against Femi Oladejo.
Mm-hmm.
You paid attention to the draft shows. Remember him?
Yeah, but JPJ just gets totally beat inside. Just because it is outside zone. I think he just you just got to be more patient with this, right? He just went for a block and the guy just waited and went inside. He's basically expecting the guy to go with the flow here instead of just blocking him.
And watch his feet. Like his second step, he has no more base.
Mm-hmm.
Go back like it's a frame. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Got ahead of his skis there.
Is that Greg Gaines? Is that what that is?
Maybe.
So. All right. Here's another one part of him here. This is the touchdown that we showed earlier. But this is him against a good anchor here again. I mean, now I don't know if he would do this against Simmons, but right? Because they're worried about Simmons. You got to see why he got his hand out. They're worried about him.
Yeah.
Right? And they got a double team on him right there. Gives that 1-on-1. He actually loses the hand battle here, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see him fight again. Like see right there. He's got his hands. He's fighting right there. So he could reset his hands, boom, and then he gets his hands back inside, which creates the pocket for Gino, right? And then he's able to kind of, push the guy a little bit to the left here, to the right, I mean. And that gives Gino the ability to step up and hit Michael Mayer right there for a touchdown. Yeah. It's a good rep up Parham right there.
The more I watch this play, the more I like it from Gino. So gotta give him some props.
Yeah, it's good pocket movement and everything.
Yeah.
Let's say he looked pretty good this game. I'm not gonna decide this, but I'm gonna show that play in a second because that play was all Parham. All right, so here's another good another run block here. Now this time he ends up against Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons kind of just beats him inside on this one. Now you see here. Simmons just kept being the lower man against Parham, which Parham, be fair to Parham, rarely happens, right? But it's, Jeffrey Simmons is Jeffrey Simmons, and you can see him just kind of be the lower man, and he just rips through it, and he just shows that power right there, kind of the same move he did earlier.
Yeah,
right. You can see he's preparing it, right? He's got that right arm there, and he's about to rip this one right through it, right through right there, and it's gone. And of course. Glaze can't reach. You can't get that reach block here either, right?
Yes. JPJ needs to help him out a little more than that.
Yeah. which maybe, like as I'm saying, so maybe gives Mozart a little bit of different lane here. But yeah, but this is just a rep where Parham ends up just losing here, and that's just like I said, that was Simmons just adjusting to what he was doing because he had a couple good blocks to start the game, and then he started doing these little rip moves and getting past him there a little bit. All right, so 2 more here. Oops, my bad. Sorry, guys. So I was sucking with these spotlights here, guys. It's all right. All right, so here we go on this one. Just a little help, another good block, but you could see he'll be able to kind of get in front of that, right?
It's a lot of push, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of push there. You can see a push from everybody, good push from everybody, which gives Genty that cutback, and Genty does a good job of seeing it quick, which I love. I love Genty's vision right now. He sees that cutback quick. He doesn't even hesitate. Hits it, boom, right up the field, gets 8. We did not see this from Genty the first 3 weeks. We talk about him running the football. This is the difference. Like him seeing it, him in outside zone. He's great in outside zone right now. Right.
Yeah.
And he just sees that cutback so quick. I mean, you can make the case that maybe he could hit that, but I just like him being decisive. Right. I mean, that's what I like. I like him seeing the flow and being decisive no matter what. Boom, getting upfield. Gets 8 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good block from everybody there. All right, a couple more here. So then we get the little old school G lead here. Not familiar with G lead. You get the pull from the center, same side of the field. This is some Vince Lombardi stuff. But you see some more good blocking there from Parham there. Yeah. All right, good hands there. Get the hands.
I like how Genty sets that up too.
Yeah.
He tack the line, get that linebacker to come downhill.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm telling you, man, he's been playing really well. I think it's a little underrated how well he's playing. Cause he sets this up because I lost Thor's foresight to get up to the second level just by making that guy hesitate a little bit.
Yeah.
You see it right there. Boom, gets to the second level. Then he gets through there. 53 makes that tackle, but still good play there.
We'll take it 5 yards down the field.
Yeah. It's about 6 or 7, actually.
Yeah. 53, that's old Jihad Ward, former Raider. Famously picked over Derrick Henry.
Is that dude played like 11 years? What is it?
Yeah.
God damn. He just keeps getting a job, man. Jihad keeps getting a job. Wow. Good for him. All right. So this is his worst rep of the game. I think this is why he got like a 31 or something like that on PFF. It's just this rep right here. This is why. All right. So on this one, you're gonna see, like I said, he's gonna do the same move he's been doing. He basically figured out Parham really quick. He's about to rip through. It's like this. He's like, all right, okay, fine. As soon as you start to punch, I'm gonna get your hands in there. I'm gonna get your hands up. I'm gonna rip right through. And he just totally whiffs on this one, right? Where he is like, oh no, it's like that one Miles Grant clip. Run, Gino, run! Run, Gino! Basically, right here. That's what happened right here on this one. And then, but my thing is like I know Gino's tried to what else is ground this. He said he just tried to throw it in the ground. He just threw it really hard, throw it in the ground. I mean, that's a hard throw. I don't know. I feel like he tried to make this throw still. Yeah. Right. And I get it. And I do think he panicked a little bit too. Because, I mean, I can't show it this side, but, if you're going to ground it to Genty over here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he got popped. And that's why he ended up throwing that pick. But, yeah, so that was the that was the offensive line, basically a little bit of offensive line how they played today, and then also a little bit of Michael Mayer. So yeah, I thought Parham did solid against Simmons. Of course Simmons started to figure him out a little bit, and was like, okay, I know how to beat you now. That's just something savvy players are gonna do. But when Parham didn't face Simmons, he played pretty well. So it kind of is still the same issues that we're a little bit worried about, but not a lot of people can block Simmons one-on-one like that. And I thought he played pretty decent for just that matchup. But yeah, the rest of the offensive line was a little out of whack too, just on certain plays. And yeah, they just got to clean some of those things up in that communication stuff, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that'll come with a little bit more time. It's just Rage have kind of already run out of time at this stage, but I did think, like you said, it was a little bit more encouraging because, again, going up against elite competition has usually been like one of the biggest factors on Parham because, honestly, I think he's more of just like an average player. But to win a few reps against Simmons, like you're going to expect him to lose a few of those, but to have a few nice ones, it was encouraging. And then Michael Mayer, like I feel like every game he's played, like he's actually played, like he's made a big impact. Like going back to the week 1 game where I think every catch he had was significant. He's got to be able to stay on the field at this stage in his career. But it is encouraging, too, from him to see him start to take that next step.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, let's get to the defense, man. Let's check out.
Sounds good. All right, gonna start with the a few pass rush snaps. Now, this one I talked about in the instant reaction. I think this is the best pass rush snap of Jonah Lualu's career. Like you're going to see him. He does this great job on the spin move. What I love about this is he sets this up well. Like you'll see him first start to open up wide. All right. And Zietler, the right guard, starts to open his hips. Then Jonah's going to start to stem inside. Like you'll see what that does to Zietler, where he starts trying to change direction again. And on top of it, like Jonah's going to like spin outside. And I want you to watch his I guess what would that be? His right elbow or his left elbow. And just how he uses that as like an ice pick. If you ever heard me talk about that with the spin move, and what he does with that, or what that does, is like you see, like he can pin Zietler's outside arm down, so that allows him to get a clean win, or as close to one as possible, and prevent Zietler from being able to get like this inside hand on his chest.
Yeah,
and on top of it, just grabs some cloth and finishes to get the sack. So definitely, for me, this is the best pass rush rep that I've seen from him over the last 2 seasons. So. This one got me a little fired up.
Yeah, man. That's a great rep.
The first sack of the game. Now, the second one, this is where I think you're getting a little bit what I talk about of the Titans just making a lot of mistakes. Like, I'll back this up a little bit, take that box off Devin White. Now, this is going to be a 6-man front. I know he's not in the picture, but Malcolm Kuntz is out here. Malcolm Kuntz is out here. It's just off screen. So it's going to be a 6-man front. And on top of it, like you're going to see the Raiders are going to walk Jeremy Chin up in press coverage against this reduced split receiver. So it's basically a 7-man front. If you're the Titans, like you have to account for Chin in the pass protection scheme because he's a blitz threat to come off the edge. So what they end up doing is they're going to slide pro left, but it's not quite a full slide, or at least not executed like a full slide, where this right tackle is going to stick to go block Max Crosby. What that happened, because of that, Devin White's going to be free. He's going to be the free rusher. And this is what I'm talking about, where they're just not on the same page. Because if Devin White is the free rusher, then Cam Ward has to throw hot off of White if White blitzes.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the other option is the right tackle steps down and blocks White and blocks the inside man, which is probably what he's supposed to do. Because especially when you have tight end chip blocking Max Crosby. And then Ward just throws hot off of or Crosby, or just tries to get the ball out before Crosby can get there.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't, and then White just comes unblocked. And props to him for capitalizing, making a good wrap tackle here. Like you'll see, wraps up and takes advantage of some bad ball security from Cam Ward here. He ends up punching it out for the strip sack. But again, I mean, this is him just running full speed and going untouched into Cam Ward.
I think that's something they probably should keep doing, because if you're so worried about Max, that's why Latham did that.
Yeah, exactly. That's for sure. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to 100% put this on Latham, because I know what he's thinking. I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the game plan of like, hey, we're not going to leave Max Crosby unblocked. But against this look, you kind of have to. Otherwise, you're going to get a linebacker screaming and running full speed at your quarterback. And I think they talked about this after the game. Like the Raiders, like they knew when the Titans came out in this empty formation, this is the look they wanted, and they got exactly what they wanted to. So this is probably something they saw on film too, where this is just how the Titans block it up.
Yeah.
This next one, it's going to be a pretty nice blitz here from Patrick Graham. That's one thing I will say that is encouraging from the Raiders' perspective is Patrick Graham had probably the best game he's had all season. Like his blitzes were a lot more effective like this one. And what I like that he does on this one is it's going to be basically he's going to blitz all three linebackers. It's a green dog blitz. And you'll see Chin, like he peels off to come pick up the back on the swing route. But if this back stays in, or if the back doesn't cross this formation and stays in and blocks, then Chin's just going to continue on blitzing. So it is a heads up play by Chin too, because he kind of takes away Cam Ward's check down here. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that Graham does that I like is he has the defensive tackles pinch towards the center. Like you're going to see Jonah here work towards the center, and then Skoronski, the left guard, like watch what that does to Skoronski. That brings him inside. Yeah. And this makes it really tough for this running back that does stay in pass protection, because he's going to eye Chin at first because he's the more immediate threat since he's closer to the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. And once he sees Chin drop in coverage, now he's got to get his eyes on Devin White. And against a good, off-ball blitzer like Devin White, that's a hard block to make. I mean, it's honestly for Tony Pollard, like I'm kind of like props to him for picking this up, because that's not an easy read. You're basically giving the running back a dual read, which is tough for left tackles to pick up. And he just gets beat by White. And on top of it, too, Max Crosby's going to win around the edge to get his first sack game, fights through a chip block here, just beats Latham with a little hand swipe. Yeah. Malcolm Kuntz has a pretty good rep on the left side here against, I think that Dan Moore, just turning speed to power. So Cam Ward, at this stage, he has nowhere to go. And also Jonah does a pretty good job of putting Skoronski on his back. It's a little bit help with the trip there, but again, just a general.
Even Wilson's getting a little. I mean, not that much push, but
a little bit. Yeah, we get some better reps from Tyree Wilson, though. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Now the Raiders are going to come out. They're going to basically run the same blitz here. Like this is what I'm talking about before. This is pretty much the same play call from Patrick Graham. The biggest difference is the Titans only have one back in the backfield this time, and he's going to stay into pass block. So Chin's going to blitz. And they do have Butler like rush at first, and then he drops to take away this hot route from the tight end. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's the same blitz, right? They're just going to bring all three linebackers. And then, again, Crosby just wins around the edge, gave J.C. Latham a tough one. I'm not going to lie. I laughed a little bit when I saw this from Cam Ward.
It's smart, though.
It is smart. He's like, you know what? This play's dead. I got my hot route taken away by the defensive tackle, and another free rusher with another linebacker coming straight through the B gap. So I'm just going to ground this, although he took a hit anyway. And the same thing too with the defensive tackles, where they both pinch towards the center. Again, takes Skoronski's eyes inside, gives Landon Roberts, even those 31-year-old legs can get there and hit home.
Yeah.
This next one, I like the pre-snap look from Patrick Graham here. He did a lot more. Like a lot of times when the Raiders run these like 6-man fronts with a double A gap look where they walk both linebackers on the line of scrimmage, they just ran cover zero. Like that's been like one of the frustrating things about Graham's play calling so far this year is it's really predictable when they're blitzing. But this time he's actually going to have these guys drop. But what I like about coming out in this is you get the running back to step up into the B gap so he can block White if White ends up blitzing, White ends up dropping in coverage. And since you have a 6-man front, you're guaranteeing that you get Max Crosby one-on-one with with J.C. Latham, the second-year right tackle. And then Crosby just wins with a little hand swipe. One thing I will give Latham credit for, you might have noticed this on the last clip too, is Crosby was doing these little like fake punches, right? Like right here, like you watch Crosby's inside hand there. Like he kind of like flashes it, and Latham wasn't biting, but then again, he still lost around the edge on the hand swipe.
He never got his hands on him at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I like that you don't shoot your hands here, but at some point I need you to actually get hands on it. Yeah. All right, which one we got here? Oh yeah, another little line game here. Now, this is part of the Tyree Wilson propaganda for today, if you will. they're going to run a little DT twist, and he does a really good job of attacking the center. And what I like that Adam Butler does is if you watch him, he's going to rush, like basically disguise the game and start to work up the field first and then work around. And what that does is that captures the center's attention. So then Tyree Wilson as the penetrator, like Lloyd Cushenberry doesn't know Wilson's coming. And he just gets fit, and Wilson just gets physical. And he ends up winning inside and damn near getting a strip sack from against Cam Ward. But I guess this is ruled an incomplete pass. I don't know. I guess he let go of it.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, too, Max Crosby just beats J.C. Latham again. Same move. Hand swipe. Boom.
That's a good rep right there, yeah.
Good rep by Crosby, good rep by Tyree, and Butler on that line game. Again, same kind of thing here. This one's going to be Devin White's interception. Running a little ET stunt where Wilson's going to be the penetrator again, and when Butler loops around. Same kind of thing. Good job by Butler to attack up the field. You can see gets Skaronski's eyes. Not quite as clean, but Wilson still does a good job of attacking the guard. And then once Ward starts to drift in the pocket, which I get it, the offensive line's been shaky all day, and you see the line games, and Max Crosby does start to win. But I mean, if I'm coaching up Cam Ward, I'm telling him to hang in there for a little bit longer, because that's part of why Wilson's able to escape and go get a pressure. And I will say, would like to see Wilson break down here and finish with this sack. But what he does do is on the other side where they have the TE stunt, is gives Jonah plenty of time to win around the edge, which again, J.C. Latham had a rough one. I don't know why he just stops here.
Yeah.
But Lalu ends up making contact with Ward as he throws it. Ball sails up in the air, and then White capitalizes by tracking it and coming down with the pick. This one might be my favorite. So if you ever were wondering how Leaky Fotu got a sack, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to Leaky Fotu truthers, but it's because the Titans' offensive line doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, what the hell? Okay.
Again, part of this is the front that the Raiders come out in. Like, they have 4 pass rush threats on this side of the field with Jeremy Chin walked up in press coverage against the tight end. Now, granted, I don't think Chin's blitzing from this look. I probably wouldn't plan on it. But I think that gets Cushenberry to turn left. And he very clearly is thinking that Zietler's going to pick up Fotu. And then Zietler is thinking that Cushenberry is going to pick up Fotu, because they both just put out a post arm, which is meant to just help the guy inside of you, offensive line, but no one actually picks him up. And from Zietler's perspective, he's sitting there probably thinking, we got Crosby on a wide 9 technique. I'm going to go try and look for work to help him, but he can't. And on top of it, Crosby wins around the edge.
Yeah. Anyways.
So anyway, but yeah. So again, nice job by Fotu to capitalize, but this is not exactly a reputable rep. This is a repeatable rep when this is kind of what I'm talking about, where the game is a little bit more about the Titans just being awful than the Raiders being excellent or anything like that, or turning a corner.
Oh, I agree.
And then to make matters worse, it's not quite as bad on this one, but basically the same thing happens. This is kind of similar to that rep you were showing with JPJ and Jordan Meredith. It's the same thing that happens. Butler's going to line up in the B gap, so Zietler has him pre-snap, and then he's going to cross face and get into the A gap. And Cushenberry's turning right, but then he just gives up on it. He thinks Zietler has it. Zietler thinks Cushenberry has it, and neither one of them block him, and Butler ends up getting pressure and preventing Ward from being able to step into that throw. Yeah,
because they're so worried about one player, just like the Raiders were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, again, with how J.C. Latham was playing, I don't blame him. But yeah, you're right. Because Zietler, as soon as Butler crosses his fate, Zietler starts looking for work and trying to go help on Crosby. Yeah, just bad offensive line play from Tennessee. All right, which one we got here? This next one's a nice little line game here from the Raiders. They're running this a lot, and Tyree Wilson did a pretty good job as we saw a couple times with him as the penetrator. This time he's going to be the looper, and Jonah does a great job of crossing Skoronski's face and then attacking the B gap, but attacking the outside shoulder Skoronski. So he takes Skoronski with him, and then when Wilson loops around, and Wilson does a great job of taking an efficient path, like. You'll see him with his first step, goes up the field, and then pretty much from there, he just goes at like a 45-degree angle and straight to the quarterback, which is good to see from Tyree because he's not always the most fluid mover.
Yeah.
So even when Skoronski goes to pass off Jonah, it's too late. And on top of it, too, the goalpost here kind of blocks it, but like you can see a nice little rip move here from Tyree.
Yeah.
To get that clean win, and then Ward has to get rid of it. And he throws to Kelly, who has good coverage here on number 5 on the go route. But that was just basically that was set up by a great pass rush rep with a great line game from Tyree and Jonah.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of pressure, man. Good looking.
Yeah. Next one, I believe just Malcolm Kuntz doing a pretty good job. Ball is out pretty quickly on this one, but more than anything, I just want to give a little shout out to Kuntz because he had a few wins that just didn't go down as much, but doing a pretty good job here against Dan Moore. Just speed to power. Moore never gets his feet set in the ground, and Moore's got to get rid of the ball and ends up sailing the throw.
That forced me to get rid of it real quick.
Yeah. A little interesting camera work here from our guy in the pre-snap. But this one, this is one where I'm I don't know what Cam Ward's looking at. Like, he's got Tyler Lockett open right here. Like, you can see him if he wants to hit that window. And he's looking at him, but he turns it down. And then ultimately just ends up scrambling and throwing it away. One thing I did like on this one is, again, another line game here, this time with Crosby crashing inside. He ends up beating Cushenberry here.
Yeah.
With that nice little swim move. And then on top of it, too, Booker does a good job of getting wide and getting to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So when Crosby does win it and Cam Ward starts to roll out of the pocket,
he's right
Booker's
there.
right there to make sure Ward doesn't scramble. And then on top of it, ends up leading a throwaway. Moving on and focusing a little bit more on Tyree Wilson. Keep the pass rush theme going. He had a couple nice bull rushes in this game. We saw one earlier. This time going up against Skoronski. Doesn't quite get the win here. I would like to see the finish be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Pad level a little bit, I think, too. And I think he might end up being able to get the sack. Like, you see his feet kind of stop right around there. But I do like that he's collapsed in the pocket. Like, you'll see Ward has to move off of his spot a little bit to end up making that throw, and he ends up checking it down. Darnay Holmes, please.
Mm.
Yeah, 13 missed tackles in this game. That's part of the reason why I say if they play like that against the Chiefs, it's not going to work.
We talked about that yesterday. This Just Stats Baby show. 13 missed tackles.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, another nice rep here from Tyree. Just being a good bull rush. Same thing that we saw from Kuntz earlier. Moore's never able to set his feet, and that pocket's collapsing pretty hard on Cam Ward. He's got to check it down. He just ends up finding it, and they get it before Wilson get the sack. But encouraging rep from him. Now, where he really made his money was against the run. Had a bunch of good reps in this game. You're going to see the Titans. They're basically trying to trap him here with a little pull lead concept.
Mm-hmm.
What they're going to do is you're going to see this tight end. He's going to take one jab step at him and then go work up to Landon Roberts, which why the Titans were trying that scheme, I'm not quite sure, because you'll see. We'll just watch Helm ends up getting a terrible angle on Roberts, who is unblocked. But again, back to Tyree Wilson. What the Titans are trying to do, they're trying to just trap Wilson and then run underneath him. You'll see the guard's going to pull and come try and kick him out. The play side guard's going to try and kick him out.
Mm-hmm.
But Wilson just does a great job of seeing it. Once he sees that tight end release inside, you'll see, you look at Tyree's eyes. He gets his eyes right inside and sees the puller coming. So now he gets his hands up to take on the block. Now he does get a little bit of help here. Like if you notice, Skoronski gets tripped up by the left tackle here because Jonah's doing a great job of resetting the line of scrimmage. But again, great technique from Tyree Wilson. We see a little bit of his strength there to get Skoronski off his body, escape, and go make that TFL.
That's a great player right there.
Yeah. Gonna get another pin and pull concept here. This time it's gonna get another pull lead concept. This time it's gonna be pin and pull. What I like about this rep too is he's gonna get double teamed by the two tight ends while I think the guard and the center end up pulling around. And first of all, he's a great job of recognizing the play design. Like you'll see him take on the block and then start to work wide, so he stretches it out.
Yeah.
And where this rep really gets good to me too is like you're going to see this tight end start to try and peel off the combo block to go pick up Roberts. But Tyree does a great job of hanging onto the block and like tying up that tight end, and that makes Roberts' job easier as he just goes to do one of his classic like seek and destroy on the seek and destroy blocks and ends up taking out the tight end and getting a little piece of the puller here. And on top of it, Tyree escapes the other tight end's block too and ends up making a tackle for like a 2-yard gain. So
that's great. Yeah,
it's a great rep, man. I mean, it takes on a combo block, and they're trying to pin him inside, reads the play, stays wide, stretches it out, also helps his teammate against Roberts by tying up that tight end, and on top of it, makes the play on his own off of a double team. So, hell of a rep by Tyree there.
Yeah,
I think he was the PFF's fourth highest rated run defender among edges in the game. Now this one really more of an effort play, probably the least impressive rep that we're going to see. But I do like that he gets his hands up, see him sink his hips a little bit here to get a nice wide base and be able to stay in his gap. And the Titans do run. I think this was a draw on 3rd and long. More than anything, again, just an effort. Ends up getting involved in the tackle.
Yeah.
So
it looks like he's earning them more snaps, man. That's why he plays so much.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely a fixture in the rotation. That's for sure. Again, this next rep, like not a physically dominant rep or anything by any means, but you're going to see the Titans run a little split zone here with the tight end working across the formation. It looks like Pollard's going for the B gap, so it's a mid zone call. And Wilson just does a great job of taking on the block here. Because does lose a little bit at first, but he just keeps his base wide and has good hands. Again, I think his pad level's a little high. Like you can see, Moore gets his helmet under Wilson's, but at the very least, he does enough to set the edge and have like an outside leverage on the block, an outside presence that he discourages Pollard from bouncing it, and on top of it, he ends up getting off the block and going and getting involved in this tackle. Also, a nice rep by Landon Roberts here.
Yeah, that's a great rep. Yeah. Roberts like, C-ball, hit ball.
Pretty much. C-ball, hit ball, and attack.
Yeah.
It's funny. I forgot to point it out, but on that pull lead from the combo block, if you watch Roberts, he's signaling something pre-snap, and I saw people on Titans Twitter pointing it out. Like, yeah, it's pretty clear that that opponents know what's coming. So, again, part of the reason why the coaching staff got fired from Tennessee this past week, and tell you what, you could see why. You could see it on film. So,
yeah, I mean, that's Callahan's offense, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, if you just think about that offensive line, like Zietler, Cushenberry, Dan Moore.
I mean, Dan Moore, I think, was an overpay, but there's an upgrade. Like last year, they tried Latham at left tackle, and that didn't work, and he went back to right, and still looks awful. So, yeah. I mean, Bill Callahan's the O-line guru. Not if you watch the Titans this past season. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Might have hurt his resume by falling on his son because I don't know what's going on yet. Because Zietler was good in Baltimore, and he was good in Detroit in the last few years, and I don't just whatever reason he was just awful on Sunday. Cushenberry was a decent free agent pickup a couple of years ago. I like Latham a lot, but yeah, Tennessee's got some problems, that's for sure. Skoronski was a first round pick too, so you got some talent there. I don't know what's going on.
Yes, it's super weird. But yeah, I mean, seeing Tyree play like that is very encouraging. And it's just, I mean, the whole defensive line, and just what Patrick Graham was doing. I mean, they really
Yeah.
understood, how to attack these guys. And, that's what I'm saying. I think they could be ready for the Chiefs. It's going to be interesting. I guess Chiefs, to be honest, I'm more worried about what the offense is going to do. And, because they're going to blitz the hell out of Geno. I already know that's going to come, and it's going to be cover zero. They'll be like, "Oh, you aren't throwing deep anymore." We'll see, right? We'll see what you got here, right?
Yeah.
They're going to let you, throw hot and all the time and see what Geno does here. But yeah, I mean, that's very encouraging, to see that, and they are good at stopping the run, so they're just gonna have to, maintain that, keep that going, and they have shown if they play an offensive line that's not the greatest in the world, that they can get it done. They can make some plays.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Yeah, and like you said, I think you touched on this too. Like the growth in Patrick Graham was honestly probably one of the most encouraging parts, because on top of what I was showing with like the blitz packages and the fronts and stuff like that, they mixed the coverages up a lot more this week. I don't know how the numbers on me, but I felt like I saw a lot more cover two. Like there was reps where like they showed one high and they actually had Palomau like play like the Tampa dropper and drop the two inside guys. So it was a lot more complex of a game plan, if you will. I don't know if that was just because they were playing Cam Ward and they just decided that we're going to throw everything we can at the rookie. But is what I'd say would be, if you're looking like to contradict what I was saying a little bit earlier, if like you're looking for encouragement from moving forward from the Raiders in this win, is Patrick Graham was a lot more creative with the play calls, and it was a lot less vanilla, just cover three, very predictable stuff, and where the blitzes weren't working, because the blitzes were working in this week, and he showed a lot more unique looks for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Are we going to be back with some college, or are we going back to preview, Matt? Or do we wait for another win? What do we do, Matt? What are we doing?
I mean, I kind of think we got to go. I think we stick with the draft, but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Should we leave it up to the people? I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we can leave it up to people. We'll let you guys know. They want to see me break down Mendoza. I know that. I know they want to. That's what they want to say. That's what the people want. They want me to break down Mendoza. So I probably will do that, but we'll see. We'll see what they want. If they want a game preview for the Chiefs. But yeah, the Chiefs are coming up. So we'll do Friday Night Live, and then of course we'll let us know what you want from a draft. We'll do that. You want a preview? We'll do that. And if they end up, they're like, I think like they're probably like a -11 right now. We'll see how that's gonna go. But
the spread.
Yeah, the spread.
What did it open at?
10.5. But it went up. I know it went up. So
a lot of people are already betting the Chiefs even at 10.5.
Yeah. So that spread's going up as we speak. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, just let us know. But like I said, hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit up pandasubs.com and get you a shirt. Bo Jackson. Let me get that subscribe button thing off here. Boom. Bo Jackson. Whatever. Like I said, I got my shirt on right here. Boom. So yeah, make sure you guys go ahead, check those out, and we're out of here. Peace.